Is the housing market as vibrant and momentous as it is now? Is it going into bubble territory? Is the housing market about to crash? I've been around a long, long time. I went through that Phoenix bubble. I was here, and this is nowhere near what we were seeing in Phoenix. We're not close to bubble territory in my estimation. I don't think it's about to crash. I think it's an absolutely wonderful time for you to consider buying a property. I think home prices are going to go considerably higher from here. And I think you're going to be very, very happy that you bought a property. So let's go to my very first slide. Now you have to keep in mind that bubbles are an extremely rare event. Now I've been doing this for 50 years and I've only seen one real estate bubble. I've gone through 3 cycle completions on the real estate industry, but I've only seen one bubble. Now, during the 1980s, this was a bubble. This is the Japanese land and housing bubble in 1985 to 1989, where they saw, in 4 years, they saw prices triple in 4 years. Now, that is some kind of appreciation. Now, values were so expensive in Tokyo that it was thought that the value of Tokyo exceeded the value of the entire state of California. If you can believe that. There were those that thought a small prefecture in Tokyo would be worth the entire country of Canada. Now that's called a bubble. And it is very, very rare. Now I was here in Phoenix, and I'm going to tell you there's a few tells. We're going to talk about that. I don't see where we're at with that yet, but I think it's okay. We are seeing a dislocation of population moving from urban centers to other less urban areas. You're seeing people move. We have lots of trends. We've got demographic trends that are in place. People are leaving California, moving here to Phoenix and Arizona, but they're also going to Texas. You have a lot of people leaving the Northeast. You're seeing a lot of people leave New York, and they're heading to Florida. Tampa and Miami can't keep up with the amount of people that are moving in, and that's what we see in Phoenix. We have 200 Californians every single day net moving here to Phoenix, on top of the 100 from other places. So we have 300 people, over 100,000 people moving in here to Phoenix every year, and the builders can't keep up. We don't have enough product for all the people coming in. And is that going to drive prices up? Well, of course it's going to drive prices up. You know, rentals are going up too, but we're going to see things level out. We're going to return to normal. Now, it might take a little while. Now, we've got an awful lot of pressure. Our studies show we've got at least, as far as out we can look, it's like 14 months, and I don't see any problems. You know, unless we hit a Mad Max event where we have another problem, it just comes out of left field. But right at the moment, I can't see any indications that we've got anything near a problem in the real estate market. In fact, I think this real estate's going to go considerably higher from here. Let's look at my next slide. Now, I was here in Phoenix for this bubble. You can't miss this on the chart. This is coming from Federal Reserve electronic data and a Case-Shiller index. You can't miss it. It stands out like a sore thumb. It actually peaked in 2006, but the run-up was through 2005. Now, from 1996 to 2006, homes doubled. 10 years. Keep in mind, in Japan, they tripled in 4 years. That is a big difference, and this is an historic bubble doubling in 10 years. That was a historic bubble. Now, I don't see that going on here. Vast majority of that was in the run-up, was in the accumulation phase and the explosive phase again, but they were accelerated because things were really, really going. And so from like 2002 to 2006, 4 years, 2/3 of the run-up was valued. That's when that money was made. And I'm going to tell you, I don't see a lot of the tells that we saw. I mean, I was here in 2006. It was crazy. People were buying houses, putting them on the market the very next day from closing, adding $50,000, $100,000, and trying to sell the property. Now, some of them actually made money. So that's the amount of craziness that was going on. And we had tens of thousands of vacant properties that no one ever had any intention of ever moving into and using, other than the fact they were just shuffling the ownership from one group to the next group and running up the prices. Now we don't have that. We have a shortage of homes. Everybody, when we sell a house here, they move into it. And people are putting money down. We're putting cash and 25% down, 50% down. It's very, very hard for a first-time home buyer who is really the one at most jeopardy because they don't have any equity in the property. You know, put 3%, 5%, 10% down. They have a terrible time buying a house. It's generally very, very strong hands that are buying the property. So I do not see a bubble. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't see a bubble in outlying years coming at us, but not at the moment. This is a great time for you to buy. It's a great time for you to pick up some properties. Now, I was here. I'm going to tell you about some of the stuff that we saw. And I want you to see this next slide. This is how crazy it was. And this is one of the tells. Now, if you can see my hands, we've got prices in Maricopa County going up, and rents are going up right along with them at the same pace. And the delta, which is the regional benchmark on our cap rate, is staying the same, which tells me we have a very, very healthy marketplace. Now, I own this property, and this house over here, I own that one too. I bought them the same day from the same builder. I upgraded them exactly the same. I put the same colors in. Now, I sold the house next door, and the owner of that house, his house payment was $3,300 a month to own a property, and you could lease this house, a duplicate, but you could lease it because that's what we were leasing this house for $1,495. It was 50% less to rent than to own. That's an automatic tell telling you that things are really, really exuberant and crazy. They're out of whack when you can rent for less than what you can buy. And today you can buy and your house payment is less than what you can rent it for, telling us we have a healthy market. And I think this is very, very good for you. Now, there's a lot of fear. Of course, when you're in investment, there's always some kind of a risk that you're taking. Certainly purchasing a home is an investment. But if you're my age, you need to own a home. Homeowners have 10 to 20 times more equity when they get to be my age than renters. It's just an easy fact for you to see. If you're my age and we have inflation, you're going to get wiped out if you don't own real assets. So you should have at least 2 rentals. You're more than happy to talk to us about it. We're very, very good at this. We're more than happy to counsel you, find some properties that work for you. If you're my age and your kids don't own a property, help them buy a property. Give them a down payment. If your grandkids don't have one, help them get a property. Let me show you my chart and I'll tell you exactly why I'm saying this. You can see this. Now, if you remember that chart that I showed you from the Federal Reserve electronic data, the Fred chart, look very similar to this. Now, we are in what we call the accumulation phase. This is where things are going up. This is when this is when fortunes are made. This is where we are absolutely right now. Fortunes are being made. You should be buying properties and they are going up. And you can see, now this is a stylized version of my 18-year proprietary cycle. But this will give you an idea of what's looking at it. It's going up fairly steeply, which is what we've had. Now, I'm going to tell you this is not a perfect cycle. You can't base your entire life on my chart, but it's been pretty accurate. It accurately predicted March 2018. And if you just look back 3 years ago, you're going to see we went into a real estate correction in an ongoing bull market. Prices actually stabilized and the acceleration and appreciation rates came way, way down. In Seattle, they went from a positive 13 to a negative 1. In 2018, that was a correction in an ongoing bull market. Now, that's just 3 years ago. And this model predicted that. Same with this was a very, very short correction in 2020, but it also predicts this acceleration and it predicts this huge acceleration. Now, can it go to bubble territory? Maybe. Depends on what's going on in the economy. You know, if inflation comes in, maybe that's one of the reasons it does that. Maybe we get severe inflation that drives all assets much, much higher. That's possible. Could see some things going on in the economy that we don't know about, but I don't know if we go to a bubble, but I think we go much, much higher from here. We're here to help you in any way we can. Ask your financial advisors. We're more than happy to work with you or talk with you. We've got property managers. We've got 5 or 6 that we use. Choose one of them. You don't want to be the landlord. You don't ever have to be the landlord. You don't even have to see this property if you don't want to. You just want to get the income that's derived off this and the benefits from home ownership. If you don't own a home, go buy one. I think you've got nothing to fear at this point. That's just my personal opinion. I think you're going to be fine. My very best to you.